So I have the last presentation. I'll go through it efficiently, I would say. And again, all this information's here. I know it's a lot to absorb. So again, my name's Karen Rowe. I've been Regional Grant Navigator since March 2024. Before that, they had a Grant Navigator for 6 months and then hiatus for 6 months. So that's why I'm here for a little bit longer in the position. We have secured some federal grants. We've secured a lot of state grants. Again, I coordinate with Todd Leopold on a lot of things. So I'm going to just tell you about, I'm going to reiterate some of the things that they've talked about, and then I'm going to give you advice on what I think is best in order to win some of these grants and some resources that we've utilized. So again, that state consultant for grant writing, both federal grants that, or 2 of the 3 federal grants that were secured has used those, that grant writing resource, but it does take time and it takes your attention, and you do have to actively participate in order to make that grant writing work. So Stan Tech wrote one for City of Fountain. They got a 1.9 million Brownsfield grant. And then also Park County got a $1.5 million federal grant. It was 1.2 federal funds, and then they got 300,000 of that LOMA, that local match assistance. So again, you have to apply for that also. So if I send you a link, or if I say you need to apply for it, you need to do that because I can't do that on your behalf. Next slide. Okay. And just one thing on the last slide, which I don't need to go back to, but I can help after you win that federal grant, but a little bit, I can't help with federal grants that come through the state. I have to help with federal grants that communities contract with directly. So best practice and resources. With each grant, there's different requirements and there's different resources. What I have found is a lot of times they'll say, here's a technical resource that you can reach out to and get help. Use it. I've seen so many communities hesitate, like, I don't know if I need the help. I don't know if I want it. Use it. So the most successful ones I have found, you coordinate with them and they will say, this is what you're looking for. You can send the grant application to them. They won't write it, but they will review it. And they will say, you're not hitting this point well. You need to focus in on this. We're looking for these kind of things. An example of that is working with City Manitou Springs. They got a $1.5 million grant for local accelerator through the state Department of Energy. But again, they had a technical resource that we utilized to help write that grant. And they let us know what to focus on and what not to focus on. Webinars. A lot of times you can go back, rewatch them, look at the slides. It's a great way to grasp the big picture, because that NOFO is tough to find information. That's what I do, is I try to dig into the NOFO, but I use those webinars as a first glance, right? And then also for contact information or questions, I look for that. So the Water Smart grants right now have all 3 grants webinars on there, as well as the slides. Also utilize studies. PPACG has that comprehensive economic development. They have an active transportation plan. They have a complete streets one done. If you have any studies around the region or in communities, utilize those studies for your grants. Reference them as much as you can. Also for federal grants, most people say, well, we have this project estimated at 100,000, let's just say, or $500,000. And now I want to go for the federal grant. I'm always like, bump it up. Or they say, I don't have the staff to oversee this grant. It's a lot of requirements. I'm like, then add money in for a consultant to run it for you. And a lot of times they want to see that because they want to make sure you're successful in implementing that grant. So Buy America, Build America. It adds extra to the costs of your equipment and items in there. Your design has to include the NEPA clearances. And a lot of times small communities have only done state projects and they're like, I don't know what that entails. You're going to have to hire a consultant to get that NEPA clearance done. So you need to make sure to consider that. Low bid for construction, you have to have a good set of plans and specs, but a lot of times they're like, well, we just want to pick the contractor we've always worked with. You can't do it that way. You have to have a really good set of plans and specs to advertise and select the low bid construction. Materials testing and inspection during construction. Federal government requires it. A lot of times communities don't have that in place or have never done that before. So there's a lot of that estimating that goes into the federal grants that if you haven't done it before, it's really important to know. And that's where I can help with that estimate. And that's why I show the owner's representative to run that grant. And so that's what the local impact accelerator program for City of Manitou Springs did. And again, that's run through the state, through EPA, and they allow that. So each grant is a little different. Very important to remember though. So also there's university resources. Todd Leopold mentioned it. CU Denver has an architectural group. He calls it the Technical Assistance Program. DOLA partially funds it. The university partially funds it, but they're designing for Rama, the town hall right now, as well as Florissant Fire District, their fire station. So you go through a process to get that scope together and the agreement, and then they'll help do that initial, what did that building look like? How many square feet? What would be the cost estimate? It's not a full set of plans, but it really helps you get going on what is this going to take. Next slide. And so these are just some best practices. I'm not going to go over this in too much detail. With federal grants, a lot of times people say, well, this is a needed project, but a lot of times they ask for calculable benefits. What is the cost to the benefit ratio? Sometimes it's qualitative benefits. And then Mr. Heisey mentioned it, project readiness. So shelf ready means you have a set of plans and specs and an estimate in place and you're ready to go to construction. If you're at least 30%, you have a good estimate, you got some plans, and hopefully you could get that design done before you hit construction. And then local support, make sure you get those letters of support ready, and PPACG is willing to provide one too if you need it. And you just saw the representatives and the senators. Important to reach out to them. Next slide. Safe Streets for All, I'll go over next. These are either open grants or ones coming up. The Big Brick Grant, which is through FEMA. Water Technical Assistance, this is through the EPA. It is not technically a grant, it's a resource, but you can apply to it and they can set you up with programs that will help you with your water program. And City of Cripple Creek was successful in doing this and they got a grant. They got all their water needs and a grant plan put together through that. Water Smart grants are out now. They're a little bit, again, very specific to what your needs are. Again, that small scale water efficiency project grant. I've been working with Cripple Creek on their water metering. However, it says the project can't be more than $250,000, and their project is, and it's tough to segregate it. So sometimes there's ways that we can make it work, and sometimes you got to do a little more research to see if you can do it through another grant. And the Bridge Investment Program is on pause. It's expected to come back. We just don't know when. And so this is Safe Streets for All. The region was successful in getting a safety action plan, a regional safety action plan. And now this is the last round through the IIJA that Safe Streets for All will be eligible. It is a popular program. So whenever that next transportation or infrastructure bill gets passed, there might be something similar to this. But right now, these are some of the information out there. Again, that Loma program is still open. Right now, it's expected to close in June of 2027. However, there is legislation out there asking to have it extended until June 2029. Because a lot of these federal grants aren't awarded yet, and that money can be used in future years. Next slide. So this just talks about what the program goals are, eligible projects. What I always say about the implementation project is it needs to be, that one needs a good cost benefit. So you need to have injuries and crashes generally in order to apply for it, and it's a minimum of 2.5 million. Again, this will close. This closes May 26th, but this the day after Memorial Day weekend. I'm working with one community right now on the planning and demonstration portion of that grant program. So with that, I'm going to end it there and see if you have questions for me, and then we'll get into just discussion with Andy on how else I can be of service or support, and also how PPACG, this is where we want to hear from you, what things are most helpful and what resources could you as a community utilize. I'll hand it over to Andy then. Thank you.